When one person's sun falls into another person's 8th house, it creates one of the most intense, transformative, and sticky connections in astrology. Often referred to as a soul merging or karmic placement, it transcends surface-level attraction and dives straight into the psychological and spiritual depths of both individuals. The karmic signature. Why it feels fated. The 8th house is the house of Scorpio, the realm of death, rebirth, and shared secrets. In a karmic sense, this placement suggests a contract between two souls to help each other evolve through intense emotional labor. Past life recognition. There is often an immediate, unsettling familiarity. You may feel like this person has access to your vault, the parts of yourself you keep hidden from the world. The debt of transformation. This isn't a light connection. Karmically, the sun person acts as a spotlight, shining directly into the house person's shadows. This often triggers an ego death for the house person, forcing them to shed old versions of themselves. Unfinished business. Many astrologers view 8th house overlays as signs of unfinished business regarding power, trust, or shared resources, money/intimacy, from a previous lifetime. The dynamics. Sun versus house person. While both feel the pull, they experience the energy differently. The dark side of the 8th. Because the 8th house rules power and control, this synastry can lean toward toxic patterns if not handled with high awareness. This placement is addictive nature. You may feel you need the other person for survival. Battles over who has the upper hand in the relationship are common. There can be a sense of I own you, or you owe me. Because the intimacy is so deep, the fear of losing it is equally intense. This can lead to jealousy, surveillance, or testing each other's loyalty. Alchemy. If both partners are willing to do the work, this is the most healing placement in astrology. It allows for radical honesty. You can finally share the things you were too ashamed to tell anyone else. Psychological healing. The sun person helps the house person process trauma, while the house person gives the sun person a sense of profound purpose and depth. Shared resilience. Together, you can survive crises that would break other couples. You become a power couple in the truest sense, transformed and unbreakable. Note, to see the full karmic picture, look at where Pluto, the ruler of the 8th, or the south node, past life points, fall in the chart. If the sun is also conjunct one of these, the karmic link is even stronger. This isn't just a romantic placement. It is a surgical one. The observer effect and psychological voyeurism. In physics, the observer effect states that the act of observing a situation changes it. In this synastry, the sun person acts as the observer. The house person often feels like the sun person can see through their social mask. Even if the sun person isn't trying to be intrusive, their very essence, their sun, illuminates the house person's secrets, traumas, and hidden desires. The result? The house person may fluctuate between feeling deeply seen, healing, and deeply hunted, paranoia. Taboo and the forbidden fruit. The 8th house governs things society considers taboo: death, sex, taxes, and occult knowledge. When a partner's sun lands here, the relationship often has a behind closed doors quality. Secretive energy. Even if the relationship is public, there is a private world between the two that no one else is allowed to enter. The magnetic pull. There is often a fascination with the darker side of life. You might find yourselves discussing deep philosophy, the afterlife, or investigating darker psychological themes together. Financial and material karma. We often forget that the 8th house is the house of other people's money. Asterisk the debt factor. Karmically, this placement can manifest as a literal financial entanglement. One person may support the other financially, or there may be a complex inheritance or business merger involved. The lesson. The karma here is about trust. Can you share your resources without using them as a tool for manipulation? The sun person often has the light, resources, or clarity that the house person needs to manage their own debts, emotional or financial. The role of the ego death. The sun represents the ego. The 8th house represents the dissolution of the ego. When you put the sun in the 8th, the sun person's identity is fundamentally altered by the relationship. You cannot remain the person you were before you met this partner. The relationship acts as a furnace. You throw your old self in, and through the heat of the 8th house intimacy, you are forged into someone new. If you resist this change, the relationship becomes incredibly painful. Signs of a high vibration versus low vibration 8th house sun. How to navigate this? If you are in this connection, the key is transparency. The 8th house thrives on what is hidden. It heals when things are brought into the light. If you feel an urge to hide something from your partner, that is exactly what you need to discuss. Subscribe to Karmic Synastry channel for profound insights into psychology and research of karmic connections.